Hey guys, um, welcome back to the 16th episode of the FilmBrony Podcast. Um, we do apologize for the long hiatus. You guys really deserve another podcast right away. So today we will be today we'll be doing the 16th episode of the FilmBrony Podcast. Also, if you're wondering, this is just going to be the two of us today because Christian can't make it to the podcast today since he's got to visit his mom. But Christian, if you're watching this, buddy, we love you and we love you very much, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next podcast. But as always, I'm not alone on this. I have a guest with me who created this whole podcast. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, after 2 months of inactivity, it's safe to say that we have a lot to talk about today,
Absolutely.
including a ton of movie reviews, including a couple rants of mine. Oh, hey, Network 98, welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard, Network 98.
Okay, so those movie reviews, as well as a discussion on the recent Oscar ceremony.
Oh boy, we got a lot to talk about.
This variety list that I found pretty interesting. My top 20 films of 2018 and 2017, as well as this new segment I want to. Oh, hey, Jose.
Well, welcome, Jose.
And to finish this off, I'm gonna start a new segment on the show, and as we go through the entire series of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, starting with season 1 here.
Sweet. And if you're asking, don't expect me to have have my rankings for each season. I'm only going by the best and worst for each season. So
okay.
All right. So why don't we get started with our first topic?
Well, usually I go over my ton of Blu-ray updates, but I just want to get this out of the way. So as we all know, the 93rd Oscar ceremony went live last month. And boy, did it suck balls.
Yeah, I only watched the first 15 minutes of it, and it was so boring that we had to turn it off. Like even my dad was bored, and he usually likes watching the Oscars as much as I do. So, but I did catch this one thing at the end, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. So,
and apparently you're not the only one, Nick. Because guess what the ratings are this year?
Very low.
10.4 million.
Yep. Yeah, it's not hard to see why this bombed. It's just, I mean, to be fair, I can understand if it's for COVID-19 pandemic reasons, but it's just there is no excuse for not showing the clips and that other thing we're going to talk about later. So there's no excuse for this.
Okay, as for the winners, they actually weren't too bad this time around. So
no.
In fact, let me just go over them. So for best visual effects went to Tenet. There was no other. For best film editing, Sound of Metal. I can't really argue with that, but personally, I would have chosen two other movies. Promising Young Woman and preferably Trial of the Chicago 19, but Sound of Metal did have really good editing.
It did.
For best costume design, went to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Best makeup and hairstyling went to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Best cinematography went to Mank. I would have chosen Nomadland, but there's no taking away from how beautifully shot Mank is. Oh, hey, hello. Nicholas Lee.
Hello, Nicholas Lee. Welcome to the podcast.
Best production design went to Mank. Best sound went to Sound of Metal. Again, there was no other.
Right. It deserved it.
Best Original Song went to Fight For You from Judas and the Black Messiah. I probably would have chosen Hear My Voice, but what are you going to do?
I actually love that song from Judas and the Black Messiah, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Best Original Score went to Soul.
Yes.
Best Animated Short Film, I usually don't really cover that topic, but it went to a really good short, If Anything Happens, I Love You.
Fun fact, I first discovered that short when one of my favorite YouTubers named That Creepy Reading brought that up in his most disturbing or controversial animated films. And he was and that short film, If Anything Happens, I Love You, was the last one on the list. And I did see that short film, and I'm telling you, it's one of the most powerful short films I've ever seen in my life.
Anyways, best international feature film went to Another Round by Thomas Vinterberg.
I heard so many great things about that film. I really need to see that.
Best animated feature film, pretty obvious. Moving on.
Yeah, so.
Best adapted screenplay went to The Father. Best original screenplay went to Promising Young Woman.
Can't argue with that.
Best supporting actress went to Yang Yan-jung. Apologies if I mispronounce your name, for Minari.
She deserved it. She gave out such a phenomenal performance as the grandmother. Her performance was so raw, natural, and real that you could have swore, and so relatable that you could have swore that's like, you know what? That's like my grandmother.
Best supporting actor went to Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah.
He deserved it.
Best actress went to Frances McDormand for Nomadland. I probably would have chosen Carey Mulligan. Best director went to Chloe Zhao for Nomadland.
Well deserved.
Best picture went to Nomadland.
Well deserved.
And best actor went to Anthony Hopkins in The Father.
And he deserved that. Although, we're going to talk about this other thing.
And now about the actual ceremony.
What were they thinking?
Okay, first of all, I understand the whole COVID-19 pandemic kind of made things complicated, but my problem, they had to film this ceremony at a train station, at a local train station of all locations.
Yeah, really. And another thing about this Oscar ceremony that was so bad is that they didn't even bother most of the time they didn't even bother showing the clips of the actors of the movies that were nominated. Like why would you do that?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. The only movie clips I can remember is when they presented the best animated feature category. And I do understand now I understand copyright, but that's not even close to an excuse.
Yeah, really.
And it just had to be so boring.
Yeah, the biggest problem with this year's Oscars is that they relied way too much on speeches, and more speeches, and it just got so repetitive and boring.
Yeah, apparently they had time to drag out all these Oscar speeches, but apparently they didn't have enough time to showcase the best original song performances.
Why would you do that?
And then we get the biggest problem.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Best actor.
Absolutely one of the worst endings I've ever seen in any form of media.
So apparently, the producers of this movie thought that Chadwick Boseman had Best Actor out of the park. So I guess they wanted to end the ceremony on an emotional note. But here's a problem though. The Academy didn't even tell the producers who won. Shit like this is why the Academy should tell the producers who won.
Yeah, and not only that, but it makes no sense. It makes no sense for the Oscars to present like Best Picture first, and then the lead acting categories for last. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, really. And like I said, it's gotten some backlash because of it.
Yeah, and I feel really bad for Anthony Hopkins and Chadwick Boseman, because rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I feel really bad for both of those actors, because both are very talented actors, especially since, in my personal opinion, Anthony Hopkins did deserve to win Best Actor for The Father, since I already described this when I said it in my top 10 best films of 2020 list on 2 podcasts ago, but this is one of the most realistic and powerful performances I've ever seen, especially since this is a wonderful, realistic portrayal of a character who suffered through dementia. But it's just like this is also a huge spin in the face to like Chadwick Boseman as well, since it felt like they were going to pay a tribute to him when really this wasn't really a tribute. It was nothing but an anticlimactic bullshit ending.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and worst of all, what's even worse? Because it was so anticlimactic, when Anthony Hopkins was announced the winner, he didn't even show up. Nobody showed up to collect his award.
Yeah. So, probably because he was living in Wales at the time, and it probably would have interfered with his sleeping schedule since the Oscars took place in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it really did. It really would have interfered, but still, that doesn't make any sense to present the acting categories for last. Like, really?
So, in conclusion, it's going to take a miracle to try to save the Academy at this point.
Yeah, really. It's just, I mean, they've done some really bad stuff in the past, but this might take the cake for the worst of the worst.
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
And yeah, that is saying a lot. And listen, it's not the winners that we were pissed off of. Most of them deserved it. It's the whole ceremony that was so poorly executed and poorly done that pisses all of us off.
Okay. I'm done. I'm done here. Let's just move on.
In conclusion, let me just say this. In conclusion, shame on the Oscars, shame on ABC, and also Steven Soderbergh. I love you, man, but since you were one of the producers, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah, me too. Let's just try to calm ourselves down by going over my ton of Blu-ray updates, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so first I have the Alfred Hitchcock collection that includes Dial-In for Murder, North by Northwest, and Strangers on the Train. Next, I have the Alien vs. Predator collection.
Nice.
Anomalisa, pretty much tied with Inside Out as the best animated film of 2015.
I love that movie.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey. Give me a couple days.
Yes.
Give me a couple
Yes.
days, and I'll have Face the Music.
Sweet.
Blue Valentine.
Nice. One of the hardest movies like I've ever seen, but it's a great movie.
And to quote Chris Stockman, why does Walmart keep putting it in the romance movie section every Valentine's Day when it's anything but?
Yeah, really, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Anyways, Cape Fear.
Great movie.
Next, I have a Kevin Smith triple pack: Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and The First Clerks.
Nice.
The Cider House Rules.
Nice.
Commando.
I really enjoyed that movie a lot.
Crazy Rich Asians.
I love that movie.
The Crow.
Nice.
Daredevil, the director's cut.
Nice.
Date Night and There's Something About Mary.
Nice.
Dr. Zhivago.
That's a classic.
The remake of Dumbo.
Nice.
Evita.
Nice.
One of my biggest guilty pleasures of last decade, The Fanatic.
Oh, God.
Fences.
Fences was excellent.
The French Connection.
That's also a classic.
The Hangover in this pre-need steelbook. Found it on Dollar Tree. If that's not lucky, I don't know what is.
Yeah, really.
Next up is High Noon.
Nice.
Hoosiers.
That's a great movie.
The Horse Whisperer.
Nice.
Hotel Transylvania and Monster House.
Sweet.
If Beale Street Could Talk.
One of the best movies I saw from 2018.
The Italian Job, the remake.
Nice.
Jackie Chan's First Strike.
Nice.
The Jerk.
Nice.
Legend of the Guardians, one of the most underrated movies, one of the most underrated animated movies of the 2010s.
Yeah, it's very underrated.
Legends of the Fall.
Great movie and definitely one of the most underrated ones.
Mm-hmm. Locke.
Great movie.
The Lost City of Z.
Also a great movie.
Lost Horizon.
Nice. That's a classic.
Manhattan.
Great movie.
Matilda.
Great movie as well.
Mom and Dad.
Nice.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
That's a great movie too.
This original Rankin Bass collection of Christmas shorts includes Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, The Little Drummer Boy, Cricket on the Hearth, Midsummer Magoo's Christmas Carol, and Frosty Returns.
Nice.
Open Season and Surf's Up.
Nice.
The first 3 Paranormal Activity movies, and from what I hear, the only ones worth watching.
Yeah, really.
Pan's Labyrinth.
That's a classic.
The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Great movie.
Looking forward to see what the director of this movie does with This Wonder and Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah, me too.
Phone Booth.
Very good film.
Popeye, Robin Williams' first movie.
I like that movie a lot.
The Rock.
Very good film.
Rudy.
Very good film too.
Run It, Lola, Run.
Nice.
Soul, one of the best movies of last year.
I also own that. Here it is right here.
Nice. Now, I've not too familiar with this movie, but I did see it at Dollar Tree, and I do hear good things about it. Short Term 12.
I heard great things about that film too.
Okay, next up is Superbad.
That's a great movie.
Superman the movie, Superman 2 Richard Donner cut, and Superman Returns.
Yeah. Nice.
This is Spinal Tap.
One of the funniest movies from the 80s.
To Catch a Thief.
That's a great movie.
Trainwreck.
Very funny film.
Twister, Poseidon, and the Perfect Storm.
Nice.
Up in the Air. Widows.
One of the best movies from 2018.
You Can't Take It With You.
That's also a classic.
And last but not least, Young Adult.
Nice. If I could also throw this in there, it's not a Blu-ray, but it is from one of my favorite films of last year, The Father.
I still need to get that movie. I'll wait until it's on sale.
Sweet.
And that's it for all my Blu-rays. And now I'm gonna go through some quick movie reviews here.
Yeah, Jose, Popeye was Robin Williams' first film.
Yeah, and it was directed by Robert Altman, believe it or not.
Yeah, the same guy that directed The Player and Shortcuts, and Godfather Part.
Yep. Anyways, on to my movie reviews. First up is The Little Things. Unfortunately, despite some good acting from Denzel, Raimi, and Leto, some good cinematography, and a couple of tense moments, the story I felt was a bit trite and kind of uninteresting. So you're just better off watching movies like Seven and Zodiac instead. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. What is worth watching is my next movie, Judas and the Black Messiah.
That's where I'm joining in because I also saw the movie too.
This is an extremely powerful movie with great direction from Shaka King and engaging performance, especially Oscar winner Daniel Kaluuya, who steals every frame he's in. So highly recommended, 10 out of 10.
So to say my quick thoughts on the film, I absolutely love this movie. It's one of the most powerful films I've ever seen, and it's easily my pick for the best movie I've seen in 2021 so far. And not only does Daniel Kaluuya, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but not only does he deliver probably my favorite performance he's given on his career, but Lakeith Stanfield, I feel, also delivers one of the best performances I've seen this year too. His performance is so powerful that you could have swore that you actually saw. His performance is so powerful that you don't actually see him see Lakeith Stanfield. You see his character, and that's what's great about this performance. Shaka King did a wonderful job with the directing. It's very well directed throughout, very well shot, and the themes they were going for in the film felt well executed, very well done, and timely, especially in a time we're living in right now. So, yeah, absolutely one of the most powerful and compelling films I've ever seen, and it's definitely deserving my very first 10 out of 10 or an A+. Please check this one out. It is my favorite film I've seen this year so far, and it's definitely going to be my top 10 at the end of the year.
Nice. Next up is Raya and the Last Dragon.
I'm also joining in on that one too.
Now, personally, I'm more mixed on this one. Now, let me get the positives out of the way. The characters, especially the main character, and likable. The music by James Newton Howard is some of the best in Disney, and the animation and fight sequences are some of the best in Disney's filmography. But at the same time, there are some points where the humor can fall extremely flat, and I'll have to agree with Luke Nukem here. Its message about trust is kind of questionable when there's more than one occurrence where the characters get into trouble with someone and almost die because of it. So I'm kind of mixed on this one, but I'm still recommending it. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
this is where I'm going to probably disagree with Soren because I actually love this movie. In fact, it's my second favorite film I've seen this year so far. With Judas and the Black Messiah taking the #1 spot. I disagree with him on like the message because I felt the message of like trust and hope was actually very well executed here, and the humor. I actually love the humor in the film. My only nitpick I did have with the film is that there were a few points where it kind of got where there were a few points in the film where it got into like predictability. Like you could predict some of the points that were going to happen, but that's really it. That's really my only nitpick with the film. Everything else I really loved. So the story was fantastic. The script was great. The directing was terrific. The animation is terrific. The voice acting was terrific. Awkwafina gave out a terrific vocal performance as Sisu the Dragon. Her performance in the film gave me I'm not even joking when I say this. Her performance in the film gave me the genie from Aladdin vibes, the 1992 film. If you guys know what I'm talking about. And Kelly Marie Tran delivers a terrific vocal performance as Raya. Screw you, haters.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie was very, very well done, and I personally think it's one of the best Disney animated films I've seen in a while. I mean, and that's saying a lot because, like, the last Disney film I consider great was all the way back in 2016 when he did Zootopia, and then that was pretty much it after that. I didn't see another great Disney animated film until this one, so I love this movie. Raya and the Last Dragon was entertaining, it was riveting, and it was just absorbing throughout. 9.5 out of 10 or an A for me.
Okay, so my next movie review is Godzilla vs. Kong.
I also saw that one too, just now.
This was a ton of fun. As usual,
Absolutely.
the human characters are nothing special, but really, do you come to a Godzilla or Kong movie for the characters? It's everything you'd expect from a movie like this to be, with its spectacular visuals and action scenes throughout. So I'm definitely recommending this one, 8 out of 10.
All right. I'll pitch in because I also saw the film too. Godzilla versus Kong was a lot of fun. While the script is a bit mess. Well, the script could have used some more work with the supporting characters. And especially with Godzilla like having a bit more screen time. I actually agree with Austin Button on this one. And while the film does have a few pacing issues in like the beginning and middle, everything else was just a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed this movie a lot. And Godzilla versus Kong was such a blast. Was one hell of a good time from start to finish. I really enjoyed this movie. And by the way, the fight sequence between Godzilla and King Kong is just fascinating to watch. 8 out of 10.
Nice. Now my final movie review before next reviews and my 2 rants is Thunder Force from Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone.
Oh boy.
If you really want to know how to do the impossible task of making a superhero comedy boring, then watch Octavia Spencer suffer with an unfunny Melissa McCarthy and her equally unfunny husband directing it all. Not the worst, but 3 out of 10. So Nick, onto your stuff.
Okay, so so I'm only gonna share like three I'm only gonna share like 3 movie reviews, like 3 movies I saw that Soren didn't, but I did. One of them I'm gonna go over is Malcolm and Marie. Now, Malcolm and Marie is directed by Sam Levinson, who directed Assassination Nation, which I wasn't a big fan of, but I know a lot of people. I know there were some people that really enjoyed Assassination Nation, but I wasn't a fan of it. Personally, but that's besides the point. But anyway, let me get this out of the way first. Okay, in Malcolm Marie, we follow a filmmaker on the brink of Hollywood glory and his girlfriend, whose story made his career, find themselves pushed towards a reckoning as a single I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. As a single knight decides the fate of their relationship. Now, I will say this: there's a lot to admire about this movie with its amazing direction by Sam Levinson. He did a great job with the directing, since you can clearly see the vision he's trying to go for with the film. As it is supposed to be a social commentary on the film industry and film criticism. And Zendaya and John David Washington both delivered terrific performances and great chemistry. And it's also beautifully shot in black and white. I love it when movies go for the cinematography that's shot very well in black and white. And it has a great soundtrack, and the editing.
Oh yeah, it's always.
But where the movie falters is its script. You see, this movie is literally nothing but Zendaya and John David Washington's characters arguing throughout the whole film. Throughout 106 minutes of the film, and that's including credits. Now, I don't mind arguing in movies. I don't mind arguing in movies as long as it's done well. But when it's done to the point of just being but when it's done over and over and over again, it gets real repetitive real fast.
Yeah,
I really want.
Take a look at Marriage Story. At least ScarJo and Adam Driver don't argue don't argue all the time for 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And Marriage Story did a fantastic job talking about divorce. It did a wonderful job covering that. As for Malcolm and Marie, though, it did have some potential to make a social commentary on the film criticism and the film industry, but I really wish the story was a lot better. 5 out of 10. Not the worst thing in the world, but not something I'll ever watch again. All right, and then next movie I watched was next one I'm going to talk about is one of the best movies I've seen this year so far, Supernova. Now, if you don't know what Supernova is, here's the story. This is the story of Sam and Tusker, both played by Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci, who were partners for 20 years, and whom they travel across England to the Lake District, reuniting with friends and family. As Tusker is diagnosed with early onset dementia, the pair spend as much time together as they can before Tusker dies. This movie was such a powerful experience. It's one of my favorite movies I've seen this year so far. Both Stanley Tucci and Colin Firth deliver some terrific performances in the film. In fact, I would go as far as to say that they deliver one of the best performances of the whole career. Like one of my favorite films I saw last year, The Father, this movie did a terrific job, depicting having a realistic depiction of a character that is suffering through dementia. It does it so well here, and the chemistry between Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci worked so well in the film that you buy the fact that the characters they play are more than just friends. They're also lovers. They also love each other, and that's what works about their chemistry. It's also very well written, very well directed, very well shot. The soundtrack is fantastic. It's very well edited, and the ending really is one of the most emotional endings I've seen this year so far. 9.5 out of 10, or an A. Easily one of my favorite films I've seen this year so far. please, I highly recommend checking this one out. It's definitely on my list of one of the best movies I've seen in 2021 so far. And then my last one I'm going to talk about is one of the ones I just saw recently. It's called The Courier. If you're expecting A Quiet Place 2, well, you're going to have to wait till the next episode. Sorry.
Yeah, my dad and I are actually considering going out to the theater to see it. Probably, I think it's our first time at the theater since we saw Tenet back in November.
Nice. I'm telling you, man, that Quiet Place 2 is such a fantastic experience.
Oh, I bet.
I love that movie. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more when we talk about Quiet Place 2 on the next podcast, though. So anyway, The Courier is based on a true story of Derville Wynn, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, a British businessman who was recruited by the Secret Intelligence Service to deliver messages to Secret Agent Oleg Penkovsky. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. In the 1960s. This is one of the better movies I've seen this year so far. This is a gripping, powerful, and compelling drama, historical spy drama that is not only well acted but also very compelling and riveting throughout. Benedict Cumberbatch gives out one of his best performances, but it's also Jessie Buckley that delivers such a riveting performance in the film too. I really, really enjoyed this movie. The only, I will say this: the movie does suffer through some pacing issues here and there, but otherwise, The Courier is one of the better movies I've seen this year so far, and I highly recommend giving this one a watch. 9 out of 10.
Okay, so my next topic. We spent the first few minutes talking about some good movies, but then we get to my couple rants.
One of them I'm joining in because, oh boy, what's this one we're going to talk about? A disaster.
So the first movie I'm going to be talking about is Chaos Walking.
Oh boy.
So this is the adaptation of the popular young adult books, but directed by Doug Liman of Born Identity and Edge of Tomorrow fame, and starring the likes of Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, and Mads Mikkelsen. The basic premise is that there's this dystopian planet where all the women were seemingly wiped out, and the men that live there have the power to read each other's minds. Things get complicated as Daisy Ridley's character crash lands on this planet, and through the power of boners, Tom Holland connects with her, and they're on the run from Mads Mikkelsen, who wants to kill Daisy Ridley for something. So, a good premise, a talented director, and terrific actors to sell this movie. So why did this movie have to be so underwhelming? Well, the actors do their damnedest. They were just so unlikable. Not that they're assholes or anything. It's just that they are so cookie cutter that it's hard to connect. That's hard to connect with them.
Exactly.
Also, the pacing is so slow and the story is so predictable that it was just such a slog to sit through, to the point where I had to check the time over and over and over. Not to mention, the center concept of this movie, the mind-reading thing, is so underutilized, especially when I get kind of annoyed whenever a dramatic scene is supposed to happen, but somebody had to put microphones in somebody's brains to blur out every single thought in their mind and distract me from the suspense. So, as you couldn't tell, I kind of hated this movie. And I know that this movie started production back in 2017, but had to do reshoots 2 years later due to bad test screenings, and this is so apparent here. In fact, another thing, why is Lionsgate still trying to cash in on a young adult book-to-movie craze when that era is long over? And to think that the director went from some of the best action films of the 21st century to two poorly received movies this year. First Lockdown and now this. So my recommendation, stay away from this science fiction disaster as much as we can. 3 out of 10, one of the biggest disappointments of the year.
All right, so this is where I'll pitch into, because I also saw the movie, and oh boy, this is one of train wreck. This is one of the most boring and incoherent movies I've seen this year so far, and I really mean it. I really mean it for a fact. Well, it's really an opinion, but still. Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland, and Max Mikkelsen are really the only actors that do give out some good performances. The visuals are fine, but they're not. But they're nothing to write home about. And the cinematography was very good. Sadly, though, that's where the positives end. The story's an incoherent mess. The script is so poorly written. Like, I'm not even kidding. When Soren mentioned that the movie went through like several rewrites, it was originally going to be written by Charlie Kaufman, then with Jamie Linden, John Lee Hancock, Gary Spinelli, Lindsay Beer, Christopher Lord, and Patrick Ness revising it further. But oh man, after the poor test screenings in April 2019, they had to do more rewrites on this film. So yeah, the script is really a mess, since not only are the characters poorly developed and unlikable, but the dialogue is beyond clunky as hell. The directing is terrible. The rest of the acting was just mediocre. I mean, I feel bad for Cynthia Erivo and David Oyelowo. They were horribly wasted in this movie.
David Oyelowo? David Oyelowo, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant. They were both horribly wasted in this movie. Horribly wasted. And Nick Jonas, look, I love you, man, but I really do love you, man. You're a very talented actor, but you weren't good, man. Sorry. Hold on a second. So sorry about that. That was my mom telling me something. They're going by my grandparents. So. Wish I could come, but again, I have a podcast to do. So anyway, yeah, the acting, the rest of the acting is mediocre. The musical score was an underwhelming mess. It's so poorly edited. The pacing is shit, and the ending is an underwhelming mess. And they don't even explain. And they try to like, and in the story they try to like do like the story of like the involving like sounds called noise, but it's never like explained a lot. It's just really underwhelming. Doug Liman, I love you, man, but this wasn't good. But then again, I also blame this on Lionsgate too for like interfering with the project, because this is one of those studio interference cases where the project unfortunately gets like botched by like a studio after poor test screenings. Yeah, this is one of the worst movies I've seen this year so far. It's not as bad as Tom and Jerry. I still think that is the worst film I've seen this year so far, but Chaos Walking is just really bad. Stay away from this one, guys. 2 out of 10.
Well, you should be pretty lucky, Nick, because this is your only rant of the evening. Me, on the other hand...
Oh, God. I already know what it is.
Folks, I owe Tom and Jerry an apology. because this movie is just so bad and so offensive that just makes me wonder, what was Sia thinking with this movie? And I'm of course talking about music.
Oh,
This is a terrible movie on all accounts. It fails as a serious drama, it fails as a musical, and it fails as a representation to the disabled. With the exception of Kate Hudson's protagonist, who is visibly trying, the rest of the characters are either walking cliches like Leslie Odom Jr., or caricatures of these Oscar-desperate performances of the disabled, like Maddie Zellweger, who gives the worst of these performances since Nick Swartzen and Bucky Larson.
and that's saying a lot.
The dialogue is just so self-serious and pretentious. The music videos are not only pointless, but on their own, they're absolutely obnoxious, especially with its oversaturated color scheme and editing. You can tell this was a last-minute decision to make this a musical. So bottom line, just like Cuties is an exploitation on childhood innocence, music is an exploitation on the autism spectrum. Why was this movie made? Why did this get nominated at the Golden Globes?
Seriously, that made no sense whatsoever.
Especially over Borat's subsequent movie film. No wonder Tom Cruise was pissed.
Yeah, really. It's just like, the thing that really gets me under my skin. I'm glad I didn't see music, but the thing that really got me under my skin, when you mention the caricature, Soren, especially with Maddie Ziegler's character, the thing that really annoyed me the most with its like portrayal of a person suffering through autism is the fact that the the person has like but a person with autism has like butt teeth. That's how it works.
It's really saying a lot that even Simple Jack is looking down on this movie.
Yeah, really.
So, like I said before, I owe Tom and Jerry an apology. 1 out of 10. The only good thing about it is Kate Hudson is trying. So, worst film of the year. I'm done. Let's just move on.
Yeah, really.
So my next topic is a pretty interesting list from Variety. It was written. This was written in celebration of Hepburn's birthday, and since she's the only actor to have 4 Oscars under her belt for Morning Glory, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Line in Winter, and On Golden Pond, they listed some actors who also should have 4 Oscar wins. So here are some honorable mentions. We have Amy Adams who got. Let me rephrase it. Honorable mentions include Amy Adams, who, and the movies listed are Junebug from 2005. Not too familiar with that movie. Doubt, The Fighter, and Arrival. Junebug, I'm not too familiar with. Doubt, I disagree. Either Kate Winslet or Angelina Jolie deserve Best Actress that year. The Fighter, meh. It was more about Melissa Leo for that movie than Amy Adams. And Arrival, yeah, she should have been nominated, but Emma Stone deserved it for La La Land. The next actor is Tom Cruise for Born on the 4th of July. I agree here. He deserved the Oscar. Jerry Maguire, No, I hear that Jeffrey Rush was terrific in Shine.
He was.
Magnolia. Hold on. Magnolia. Yes, I agree that either him or Michael Clark Duncan for Green Mile or Haley Joel Osment. I thought the three of them should have won over Michael Caine for a good performance, but not a great performance in the Cider House Rules.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he should have been nominated, especially over Brad Pitt in Fight Club or Hugo Weaving in The Matrix.
Yeah, really.
And the last movie listed is Collateral. I agree. He should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. The next actor is listed is Leonardo DiCaprio for What's Even Gilbert Grape.
He should have won.
Either him or Ray Fiennes. The Departed, The Wolf of Wall Street, and The Revenant. Michelle Pfeiffer, Dangerous Liaisons, The Fabulous Baker Boys, Batman Returns, and The White Olander. Never heard of it. And the last honorable mention is Natalie Portman, Leon the Professional, Closer, not familiar, Black Swan, she deserved the Oscar, and Jackie. All right, so number 12 is Ed Harris. The Oscar performance candidates they listed are Apollo 13. I disagree. Kevin Spacey deserved it. The Truman Show, where James Coburn won for Reflection. I disagree. I think the award show went to Nick Nolte in The Thin Red Line, but that's just me. Next, Pollock. Not too familiar with it, but Russell Crowe won for Gladiator. Either Crowe or Tom Hanks was my pick that year. The Hours, where Chris Cooper won for Adaptation. My pick wasn't even nominated. Andy Serkis for The Two Towers. And History of Violence, where George Clooney won for Syriana. Number 11 is Joan Allen. He was listed for Nixon, where Mira Sorvino won for Mighty Aphrodite. The Crucible, where Julia B. won for The English Patient. Pleasant Film, where Judi Dench won for Over Shakespeare in Love. My pick was actually, what's her name for Gods and Monsters? The Contender, where Julia Roberts won for Aaron Brockovich. I think it should have went to Aaron Burstyn for Requiem for a Dream. And The Upside of Anger, where Reese Witherspoon won for Walk the Line. I disagree. Reese Witherspoon deserved the Oscar. Number 10, Viola Davis. Listed are Doubt, where Vanellope Cruz won for Vicky Cristina Barcelona. The Help, where Meryl Streep won. Depending on the category, she would have won over Meryl Streep or for The Lady, or in the lead, or the co-star Olivia Spencer in Supporting. Actually, my picks for both categories weren't even nominated. That was Carey Mulligan for Shame and Tilda Swinton in We Need to Talk About Kevin. Fences, if you feel she was the lead, she would have won over Emma Stone for La La Land. I haven't seen Fences yet, so I can't say. And
Fences was great.
And Marie's Black Bottom, as you saw before, Frenchman Norman won for Nomadland. Number 9 is Kate Winslet. Listed are Heavenly Creatures, where Jessica Lange won for Blue Sky. Sense and Sensibility, where Malia Sorvino won. Titanic, where Helen Hunt won for As Good as It Gets. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think either Kate Winslet should have won, or I hear Judi Dench is pretty good in Mrs. Brown. The next movie listed is No Sunshine of the Mind. I disagree. Hilary Swank deserved it.
Yeah.
Revolutionary Road and The Reader, both in the same year. And Steve Jobs, where Alicia Vikander won for The Danish Girl, where Even though I think Vecana should have won for Ex Machina, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Number 8 is Kate Blanchett. Star Elizabeth over Gwyneth Paltrow for Shakespeare in Love. I agree.
Yes.
The Aviator, where she actually won.
Yep.
I'm Not There over Clayton, and Jasmine, where she actually won. Number 7 is Robert De Niro. Listed are The Godfather Part Two, where he actually won and deserved it. Taxi Driver, I agree he should have won over Peter Finch for The Network. The Deer Hunter would have won over John Voight for Coming Home. Haven't seen Coming Home, so I'm really saying. Where he actually won and deserved it. And Civil Break Book, where he won over Christoph Waltz for Django Unchained. Actually, my pick was Leonardo DiCaprio for Django Unchained. Number 6 is Jack Nicholson. Candidates are Easy Rider would have won over Gig Young for They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Chinatown would have won over Art Carney for Hair in Toronto. I think Al Pacino should have won that year for The Godfather. One for The Cuckoo's Nest in terms of endearment, where he actually won. A Few Good Men, where he would have won over Gene Hackman in Unforgiven. I disagree. Gene Hackman deserved it. As Good as It Gets, where he actually won. About Smith, where he would have won over Adrian Brody for The Pianist. Adrian Brody won. Adrian Brody deserved the win. And the last movie is The Departed, would have won over Alan Arkin from Little Miss Sunshine. I agree. Alan Arkin was really good in Little Miss Sunshine, but Jack Nicholson was just phenomenal in The Departed.
Yeah,
Eddie Murphy, which I hear is excellent in Dreamgirls. Number 5, I just mentioned him, Al Pacino. Number 5, I just mentioned him, Al Pacino. Candidates are The Godfather. I agree he should have won. Serpico, which I hear good things about. I should check it out. The Godfather Part 2, he should have won. And Dog Day Afternoon would have won over Jack Nicholson for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I agree. I disagree. I think that was Jack Nicholson's award for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Al won to actually take home an Oscar until all the way in 1992, where he won for A Scent of a Woman.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Number 4 is Denzel Washington. Candidates listed are Glory, where he actually won. Malcolm X, where he would have won over Al Pacino for A Scent of a Woman. Where he would win, he would beat either his co-star Tom Hanks in Philadelphia or Tommy Lee Jones for The Fugitive in supporting. The Hurricane, where he would have won over Kevin Spacey in American Beauty. By the way, Kevin Spacey did deserve it for pretty much his biopic, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
Training Day, he actually won, and Fences, where he would have won over Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea. Number 3 is Tom Hanks. Candidates listed are Big. I disagree. Dustin Hoffman did deserve it that year. A League of Their Own would have won over Gene Hackman in Unforgiven. Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, were both of which he actually won. I think Liam Neeson more deserved it for Schindler's List over Philadelphia. Castaway, where he would have won over Russell Crowe and Gladiator. Captain Phillips, where he would have won over Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club. I agree. Both him and Hugh Jackman for Prisoners should have been nominated for Best Actor in 2013. And A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, where he would have won over Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Pick that year's Al Pacino for The Irishman.
Yeah, he was one of my picks too.
Honestly, it is. And yeah, Nicholas Lee, it's pretty sad that Geely had to end Martin Brest's career.
Yeah, that movie. That movie
And
is
your
just.
reviews on
Go on. I'm sorry.
and yeah, Nicholas, see, I did like your recent reviews.
Yeah, your reviews are very
Anyway,
good, Nick.
it's Number 2 is Daniel Day-Lewis. Candidates listed are My Beautiful Laundrette. I've never heard of it, but depending on the category, he would have won over Paul Newman for The Call of Money, or Michael Caine in Hannah and Her Sisters. With a View, where he would have won over Michael Caine. My Left Foot, where he actually won. I hear he's terrific, but Tom
Yes.
Cruise in Born on the 4th of July is just on level. The Crucible, where he would have won over Jeffrey Rush in Shine. Gangs of New York, where he would have won over Adrian Brody. There Would Be Blood, where he actually won. There was no other that year.
Yeah, really.
Lincoln, where he actually won. And Phantom Thread, where he would have won over Gary Oldman in The Darkest Hour. And number one is the famous Oscar nominee of all, Meryl Streep. And the candidates listed here are Kramer versus Kramer, where she actually won. Sophie's Choice, where she actually won. Bridges on Madison County, where she would have won over Susan Sarandon in Dead Man Walking, or The Devil Wears Prada, where she would have won over Jennifer Hudson in Dreamgirls. So yeah, this was a pretty interesting list. I'm not agree with everything, but it was pretty interesting to talk about.
Absolutely, it was.
Okay, so just give me a second here. Now I get to a couple top 20 lists. Now, originally I was only supposed to only go over the top 20 films of 2018 for episode 16, but since it took longer than usual, I thought it would be fair to give you guys something extra and give you my list for both 2018 and 2017. So, starting with 2018. Now, as usual, before a top 20 list, there's always a handful of honorable mentions, and they are Deadpool 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Incredibles 2, Bumblebee, Ready Player One, First Man, Cold War, Shoplifters, Green Book, Crazy Rich Asians, Aquaman, The Favorite, and Eighth Grade.
As for my honorable mentions, I have A Quiet Place, Love, Simon, Paddington 2, Blind Spotting, Thoroughbreds, You Were Never Really Here, Avengers Infinity War, Searching, Mid-90s, Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One, The Sisters Brothers, The Death of Stalin, Annihilation, Boy Erased, Sorry to Bother You, At Eternity's Gate, Cold War, Incredibles 2, and Paul Schrader's First Reformed.
Nice. My number 20 is If Beale Street Could Talk. After this and Moonlight, Barry Levinson is really accomplished himself as a pretty talented director.
Absolutely.
Number 19 is one of the biggest surprises that year, Game Night.
Game Night was very good.
Mm-hmm. Number 18 is a movie that, unpopular opinion, I kind of prefer over the original, but number 18 is Sicario Day of the Soldado. Number 17 is Alfonso Cuarón's Roma.
Nice.
Number 16, I know Nick here is going to disagree, but I really dug it. Number 16 is Suspiria.
Suspiria. It was okay. I mean, I love the first half of the film, but the second half was where it really lost me. So, but that's just me.
Yeah. Number 15 is Mom and Dad. I just mentioned it over here. Number 14 is Spike Lee's Black Klansman. Number 13, Annihilation.
Nice.
Number 12, Hereditary. Tony Collette should have been nominated.
Yeah.
Number 11 is Steve McQueen's underrated masterpiece, Widows.
Yeah,
Number 10
very
is
overlooked.
Number 10 is what was for a time the highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes, Paddington 2. Number 9 is Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs.
I love that movie.
Number 8 is Searching.
Great movie.
Number 7, Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Rest in peace, dude.
Number 6, A Quiet Place. I can't wait for the sequel.
Trust me, the sequel is fantastic.
Oh, I bet. Number 5 is Bradley Cooper's A Star Is Born. Both he and Lady Gaga should have won those Oscars. Enough said.
Yeah.
Number 4, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Nice.
Number 3, First Reformed.
Nice.
Number 2, Mission Impossible Fallout. And number 1, Avengers Infinity War.
Nice. All right, so as for my top 20, number 20, my biggest surprise of 20. All right, so my number 20, my biggest surprise of 2018, The Hate You Give. Number 19, Green Book. Number 18, Leave No Trace. Number 17, Hereditary. Number 16, The Old Man and the Gun. Number 15, Mission Impossible Fallout. Number 14, Widows. Number 13, First Man. Number 12, Can You Ever Forgive Me? Number 11, one of the most overlooked films I saw from 2018, The Rider. Number 10,
Okay,
Black Panther.
Before you move on, I just want to say about Can You Ever Forgive Me? Can we all just agree that Melissa McCarthy is much better as a dramatic actor than a comedic actor?
Yeah, really. Like, Melissa McCarthy, you're a very talented actress, but get away from your husband. He's doing nothing but ruining your career. All right. As I was saying, number 10, Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Number 9, If Beale Street Could Talk. Number 8, Isle of Dogs. My favorite almost would have been my favorite anime film of 2018, or wasn't for another anime film that made the list. Number 7, I have number 7, Spike Lee's on Black Klansman. Number 6, Alfonso Cuarón's Roma. Number 5, 8th Grade. Number 4, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Number 3, Won't You Be My Neighbor, my favorite documentary film of the year. Number 2, A Star Is Born. And my number 1 favorite movie of 2018, ironically, The Favorite.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to 2017 now. Honorable mentions include the polarizing Mother, A Ghost Story, the Lego Batman movie, Coco, Darkest Hour, Gerald's Game, The Lost City of Z, Phantom Thread, The Beguiled, Spider-Man Homecoming, Split, T2 Trainspotting, Molly's Game, Detroit, and Get Out.
All right, as for my honorable mentions, I have Mother, It, A United Kingdom, Only the Brave, Wonder, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, Angry Goes West, John Wick Chapter 2, It Comes at Night, The Red Turtle, Spider-Man Homecoming, T2 Trainspotting, Norman, The Moderate Rise and Tragic Fall of a New York Fixer, Wonder Woman. It's with Richard Gere. Wonder Woman, The Beguiled, A Ghost Story, Logan Lucky, the Lego Batman movie, Thor Ragnarok, Wind River, Stronger, The Lost City of Z, Molly's Game, Battle of the Sexes, and finally, I, Tonya.
All right, so my number 20 is Wind River. I can't wait to see Taylor Sheridan's next film, Taylor Sheridan's new film, I should say. Number
I'm looking forward to seeing that too. Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Yeah. Number 19, The Spiritual Predecessor to Uncut Gems, Good Time. Number 18 is John Wick Chapter 2. Number 17, you're probably going to be surprised here, but I really love it. Number 17 is Cars 3.
I'm actually surprised.
You're probably gonna be surprised by my number 16, The Greatest Showman.
I'm sorry, but I did not like it. I was disappointed by that film.
Number 15, my one of the most overlooked horror movies of the 2010s, A Cure for Wellness.
Another film I was also disappointed in. Sorry.
Yeah. Number 14 is The Shape of Water.
Nice.
Number 13, Wonder Woman.
Nice.
Number 12, The Disaster Artist. Number 11, I, Tonya. I can't wait to see Cruella.
I've been hearing it's been getting pretty good reviews, so.
Number 10, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 8, Thor Ragnarok. Number 7, Dunkirk. Number 6, Lady Bird. Number 5, Baby Driver. Number 4, War for the Planet of the Apes. Number 3, again, really polarizing, but I love it, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I love that movie too.
Number 2, Blade Runner 2049. And number 1, Logan.
Nice. All right, so as for my top 20, number 20, Steven Spielberg's The Post. Number 19, Detroit, directed by Catherine Bigelow. Number 18, Darkest Hour. Number 17, Paul Thomas Anderson's Phantom Thread. Number 16 is Good Time. Number 15 is one of the most overlooked films I saw from 2017, Brigsby Bear. Number 14 is number 14, Logan. Number 13, Coco. Number 12, very polarizing, but I love this movie, Star Wars The Last Jedi. Number 11, oh God, I'm trying to remember my number 11.
You could always look at your...
I know, I was just... All right, I have this figured out now. Number 11, Get Out. Number 10, War for the Planet of the Apes. Number 9, Blade Runner 2049. Number 8, Baby Driver. Number 7, The Big Sick. Number 6, Lady Bird. Number 5, The Disaster Artist. Number 4, Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water. Number 3, Call Me by Your Name. Number 2, Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. And my number 1 favorite film of 2017, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Good list. Now,
good list as well.
Thanks. Now, onto our final topic of the night. And actually, I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'm all alone for a bit. I will talk about some of the things that Nicholas Lee asked me. Um, let me just highlight one of his comments. Okay. He asked, Nick, have you seen any of Uber Bowl's movies? If so, what were they? I've seen two of them, and both of them are absolute garbage. One is House of the Dead, which is one of the worst video game based movies I've ever seen in my life. And I have also seen the infamous Alone in the Dark. Also one of the worst films I've seen in my life.
I haven't seen any of his movies himself. I'm kind of hesitant.
Trust me, you're not missing much with his films. And the fact that he like challenges critics to a boxing match just because just because his movies were getting negative reviews, like that is one of the worst things you could ever like do as if you're like an actor or like filmmaker or a writer. Like that's not only like not taking the criticism, but that's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, really.
So anyway, Soren, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, on to our final topic of the night. Now, as you can tell by the title of this podcast, both of us are fans of this show.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to talk about this particular show. And to start off with, we're going to be ranking at least am going to be ranking each episode of each season from worst to best. Starting off, funny enough, with season 1. So, season 1 I thought was good, but not great. There were a couple stinkers in this season, but it was a pretty good way to start the show.
Yeah.
Anyways, and I've divided these episodes into 4 categories: bad, average, good, and great. Starting off with the bad. Number 26, A Bird in the Hoof.
I did not like that episode.
Number 25, you're all going to be shocked by how low it is, but I'm sorry, I did not like this one. Number 25 is Party of One.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, I thought that Pinkie Pie was completely out of character in this episode. I mean, she goes insane. She went completely insane just because her friends were too busy attending her birthday party. Especially the day after you've already hosted a party.
I will admit that was really, really, really stupid.
Yeah, really. Number 24, All's Well That Ends Well.
It was all right.
Number 23 is Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I did not like that episode. In fact, I kind of hate it, and I am not a fan of Chris Savino at all.
Yeah, and it pretty much introduced us to, I guess, the Jar Jar Binks of the series, Snips and Snail.
They weren't bad. They were just like underwritten.
Yeah. And now a couple of average episodes. Number 22 is The Best Night Ever. Ironically, not the best way to end the season.
It was another episode. I'm kind of like midst on. There were some good things in it, but it was just, it was not good. And Nick Lee, if you're wondering my opinion on Disney Channel, it sucks. Enough said.
Number 21 is Look Before You Sleep. Number 20 is The Ticketmaster. Number 19 is Stairmaster. Number 18, Applebuck Season.
I actually like that episode.
Number 17, Winter Wrap-Up. Nicholas Lee, we're talking about My Little Pony Friendship is
We're
Magic.
talking about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. If you're not interested, if any of you guys like are not interested in hearing us discuss about it, then I do want to thank you all for watching the show. But if you are, then we're gonna continue.
Okay. Now we get to the good episodes. Number 16, Green Isn't Your Color.
That was a good episode.
Number 15, Feeling Pinky Keen. Number 14, Fall Weather Friends. Number 13, Griffon the Brush Off. Number 12, Over a Barrel. Number 11, The Showstoppers.
I did not like the Showstoppers.
Number 10 is Friendship is Magic Part 1, Mail on the Moon. Number 9, Suited for Success. Number 8, Bridal Gossip. And now the top 7 episodes are what I call the great episodes of the series, of the season, I should say. Number 7, A Dog and Pony Show. Number 6.
That was very good.
Number 6, Swarm of the Century. Number 5, Friendship is Magic 2, Elements of Harmony. Number 4, Call of the Cutie. Number 3, Dragon Shy. Number 2, Sonic Rainboom. And number 1, The Cutie Mark Chronicles.
All right, so as for my best and worst, I pretty much have the same best as Soren. My number 1 favorite is the Cutie Mark Chronicles. And as for the worst, I have to say Ghostbusters. Trixie was so poorly written in the first episode, but I'm very thankful that she got better in the later seasons.
And not to mention, the main 6 pretty much ridiculed Trixie for showing off. Like, isn't that what a magician's supposed to do? Show off?
Yeah, really. Nick, don't let those don't let those dislikers like this just destroy you. Just destroy what you consider like as a guilty pleasure. I mean, it's your opinion after all.
Yeah. Yeah, really. So, I guess that's it for this episode. I do apologize that's not exactly the best, but we did the very best we could.
Well, yeah, and another reason was because, like, not only because of the 2-month hiatus, but because of the fact that, like, if Christian was here right now, he would like give us like his list, but he would give us like what his thoughts too. But because he had to see his mom today, that's why he wasn't able to show up. But I do want to thank you guys all for watching, and as always, be sure to subscribe to my buddy Soren, the FilmBrony. The link is in the description below. Give him the love he absolutely deserves. He's a very talented person and YouTuber. And until we see you all again for episode 17, probably like at the end of June. I just want to also before we wrap this up, next time I'm going to be presenting for episode 17. I'm going to be presenting my top 5 best and worst movies I've seen in 2021 so far. So since the first 6 months will be coming to an end soon, I thought it would be a good idea to present like the list and I know I'll probably explain this as well on episode 17, but I'll be going from 5th worst, 5th best, 4th worst, 4th best, and so on. So be on the lookout for that on the next time on episode 17. So until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of the Memorial weekend. Hope you all stay safe as always. And until we see you again next time for episode 17, peace out and have a great rest of the weekend. So long, everybody. Bye-bye.